Good for you.
Celebrating the year of podcast. I mean, we took some time. We had to regroup.
Staying right. All right.
Get rid of these pop-ups.
It is going to start here in just 1 second. And go.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, welcome back to Judging Bouncing Balls. Toby, how the heck are you?
Oh, man, we are great. We are fantastic. Holiday week.
Gosh, dang right.
Let me turn down my, I like to pay attention here to the comments. If anybody out there has something to say, we're ready for you.
Oh, we are ready.
Yeah. You know, I'll start off by saying Wednesday holidays are tough. Kind of throw everything into a tizzy for 2 weeks.
Especially in the business world, man, because people leave, they get that half day on Christmas Eve, then they're off on Wednesday, and the work productivity on Thursday is through the roof.
Yeah. Oh, it started last week. I had a sales meeting Friday morning with everybody, and he's like, we're going to go get them. And I'm like, yeah, you're going home. I know it.
You're shopping at Shields.
So I got a day tomorrow. We do work Tuesday because when our crews are out and our guys are working, we always try to have our office staff there for questions and different things. But we'll be out of there by noon.
Good.
And then back at it Thursday, Friday, and then next week. But nobody, I can make 50 phone calls and there'll be nobody. Because why wouldn't you take vacation? You get 3 days of vacation for the price, 5 days of vacation for the price of 3.
I agreed. You'd have to. And that's why almost every business is a ghost town. Obviously schools are shut down like we are. So, I mean, it is what it is, right? It's everybody kind of, which is good. You know what? We need these times where people just kind of, it's family. You stay at home, little recoup, going to the new year. It's good.
Yeah. Family, lot of family time, which is great, depending on who's listening upstairs. If somebody's listening, love it.
Have you ever seen the movie Wedding Crashers? She's always watching.
She's always right. But Allie came home from UW Stevens Point. At first, when she was dropped off, and I'm like, holy crap, she's not going back. Like, she brought everything. Because my wife said, hey, you're coming home for a month. And she's like, I got a little nervous, didn't know what to bring, so I brought a lot. And I'm like, holy crap, are we done with school? But evidently she's going back. Did amazing. I'll be honest. I have two nerds as kids. I didn't think I'd ever say that I'd have nerds, but I got nerds, and it's great. Yeah. She got all her exams done. Almost a 3.7. I'm like, that's not me. I attended my freshman year at Northern Michigan University with a solid 2-something. I didn't want to set the bar high. I wanted to climb and grow as a student. So we are happy. Had the in-laws family Christmas today. It was great.
So let me get this straight. You were 2.7 or 2.8?
I was me?
Yeah.
Oh, I graduated with a 3.0 just to get that out there.
No, I mean first year. I'm saying
first year. I bet you I was a 2.7. I took some very hard classes. I mean, tennis. They don't give A's to everybody in tennis. I think flipping John McEnroe out there, but I probably did get an A. I did struggle with the first day of school. Me and my roommate, we took 8 o'clock classes, right? Because when you're filling out your classes, you're like, 8 o'clock. I used to go at 7 o'clock. This is gonna be great. First day of school, me and my roommate are dressed, breakfast, ready to rock. Day 2, skipped it. I am like, that is too early. Like day 2, I'm already giving up on school.
That's not good. So let this be a lesson to the kids out there. If you want to if you want to end up as a podcaster of a youth sports podcast, you might want to have a 2.7 or a 2.8 like I did in your first year. So, I did finish with a 3.4. but I started with a 2.8. So,
great comeback. Yeah, I was a 3.
Well,
but go ahead.
To be fair, I'll just say this: the only reason I had a 3.4 is I took education classes, and there is nothing easier than an education class. So,
wish I'd have known that. I would have been there.
Remember,
I went to 3 colleges, so it is very difficult to move college to college to college, maintain the excellence, played a sport. Yeah.
Well, there you go. So, kids out there, be like Allie, be a nerd.
Be a nerd, right? It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier going to scheduled classes than being me.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. So that's good. Well, awesome. Yeah, no, we are. I don't have any kids in college yet, so I don't have anything like that. But I will say this: when the college break is unreal. I mean, we're talking well over. Isn't it over a month?
Well, she's off till the 17th, so it's not as bad as some.
Okay.
Because if some have like the winter sabbatical classes, then it's a month plus.
Wow. That's crazy.
But I didn't know. So if you want to take a winter class, she would have to pay for the dorms on top of already paying for the dorms. That is not part of the bill. So
no kidding.
The dorms are closed. She had to be out. Not all her stuff stays, but yeah, I don't think you can stay unless you pay. And I'm like, what am I paying for? Like, that bill's coming down the hopper now, February.
Enjoy.
I'm like, we just paid it.
Now I get to pay it again.
Right. And it's, I don't know.
Hey, you're only down to, 7 more payments? There you go.
Well, if it was me, you'd be down to 9 more payments. But most, like nowadays at the cost, you do want to get out for. She is saying she wants to go to get her master's. And I'm like, wow, that's great. But
yeah. Hey, well, good for you. What is she? Is she going to do that at Point too, or is she going to go somewhere more expensive? We'll spice it up a little bit.
You know what? She loves Point. I don't see her leaving Point. She has fell in love and with a town that is just fantastic for my daughter.
Perfect. That's good.
Yeah. So
good stuff. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, not much here. I mean, we are on Christmas break. Started last week, which is always good. So this week is a lot of errands and me running around. Like tomorrow, this will be fun. Tomorrow, I get to drive to Minnesota, pick up our van, which died there, and then I get to drive it back. So I get 11 hours in the car tomorrow, and then I'm getting home and going to the Packer game. So it's going to be super fun.
All right. Before we get to the Packer game, where in Minnesota is the van?
Redwood.
Red Wing
Heights or something. No, not Red Wing Heights. It's Redwood. It's a tiny town. That's where the van died. So
where is it? Like compared to Minneapolis, is it?
I'm going past Minneapolis to the west. I'm going way west
towards Fargo.
So, yeah,
up 90.
Yeah, this was when Amelia was out at her camp at South Dakota State. They were on their way back, and it died in the middle of nowhere. So the alternator went out, which is super exciting, by the way. As soon as she called me and told me what was happening, I'm like, "You got about 5 minutes before the car dies." I'm like, "You better find somewhere to park." And sure enough, it died. And they were luckily an old codger came by, gave him a jump all the way to the next town that actually had any kind of civilization. He followed them and everything, which is awesome. And so then it got fixed. She had to stay that night, got fixed, drives it 15 minutes. Same thing happens again. So then she goes back, barely limps back to the place. They're like, "Oh, this alternator went bad. We don't have another one." But they did give her a loaner vehicle, sent her on her way. So now we got to go back and pick it up. So,
that's brutal.
Yeah, crazy.
I was going to say, I got to head to Bruton, Minnesota on the 6th. You'll be driving right past Bruton, just by Alexandria.
Can't wait. It's going to be great. Are you going to the Packer game tomorrow?
I am. That's phase 2.
That's awesome.
So when are you coming in?
Well, I don't know. I'm going. My brother has the tickets. He's a Brown County guy. So then we're going to be all 3 of our brothers, both of my brothers, and then one of my brother's kids is going to be there. So
It is my job my buddy's company has a tailgate. It is my job to invite people.
Nice.
I gave myself this role many years ago. He never really gave me this title, but it's paid off. And if you want, come into the tailgate. It is fantastic. Okay. I got my buddy is in town from Michigan with his family of 10.
Holy buckets.
Oh yeah. There's times where we're inviting 40 people. The tailgate's got 60 and 40 of them. Like it's the fun. It's so definitely just plan on coming. Jackie, as of right now, is going. That changes with the hour. But the tailgate's super easy to get to. It's got everything, all the beer, food, drinks, soda, everything you want is there.
Well, I will text you because it obviously depends on them, but I will text you because that would be fun. It'd be good to see you before the game. I know you have a much different area than the Brown County seats, but I will see if we can connect. That'd be good.
That'd be great. Yeah, please do.
Yeah. All right, cool.
But now, a couple topics.
Yeah. Where do we want to start?
Well, I think we start with some sports talk and then we move into the Christmas.
I think I agree with that. You want to go with anything happening in your neck of the woods? Anything notable that you've seen happening?
Well, I'm a little disappointed. I got to be honest. So my cousin, Tony, which we grew up together our whole lives. Tony ran in District 8. He is a U.S. congressman all of a sudden. So he's in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
I took over for Mike Gallagher, who retired early. So he gave a shout out on the House floor to the Notre Dame Tritons winning state.
Wow. He didn't say anything about us, though.
Didn't talk about Bayport. Didn't talk about the Mighty Loons.
Man.
He did receive a text from me that I've yet to get back. But
wow.
Yeah, I know he's in the middle of the whole debt ceiling, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it is pretty cool that I've seen him on Twitter giving speeches. Like he's on the news. So yeah, Paul, go Tritons.
Yeah,
even though Pulaski Paul,
Adamski,
right?
Pulaski Paul, yeah, with the Go Tritons. Now he's all Notre Dame all the way.
Last year at this time, just making fun of the Tritons, and now he's bleeding Kelly Green and terrible blue.
Hey, well, good for him though. He's all in though. I love it. That's good to see. So. Yeah. Well, hey, at least Wisconsin got a little shout out there. You know, he's a state representative, right? State representative, or no, not state representative.
U.S. congressman.
U.S. representatives. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was a little disappointing, but I'll deal with that. You know, we won't see him at the holiday. At least I don't think so. We used to get together. So he's busy now. I don't even know if he could have security. I mean, I might be out.
Yeah, you ain't clearing that.
No, background check failed.
Well, good for him. I actually forgot to ask you if you'd mentioned to me in passing that he was running. I forgot to ask if he actually won. I didn't really honestly, I didn't look. So, because he's not in our district. So,
yeah. And he had talked about, he would love to come on. And we just got busy and kind of took our break. So I think in the future, if I can get him on an off time, because he was football. They won state his senior year. He played hockey. He played football in college. His kids are hockey players. The poor guy's got, like, you know, talk about down on his luck. His oldest, Charlie, graduated from Madison. His middle, they have twins. One of them goes to Madison. One of them goes to Minnesota. And then his youngest was valedictorian out of Notre Dame Academy and actually goes to Notre Dame.
Nerd.
Wow. So his son's kind of really struggled with school. I mean, really didn't get off the ground. But he was in charge of the youth hockey in Green Bay at De Pere Ice Rink. So
unreal.
He's been very involved. So he would be fun to get on. So I'd love to talk about a couple items. One, you know.
Wait, hey, we could talk youth hockey. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of hockey.
All right, lay it on us.
Man, Spash is I don't want to even speak too early, but man, they're looking good. They went over to Notre Dame, speaking of which, and put a little whoopee on Notre Dame. Yeah, 5-1, I think it was. So, yeah, they look really, really good. They got a senior-heavy team. You know, expectations have to be high because they're seniors. So if you don't do well. They're number one in the state right now, but this, what happened last year is they were number one and they kind of faded down the stretch. So it'd be really interesting to see. I'm waiting with bated breath here. But yeah, looking really, really strong right now. They beat Eau Claire Memorial last night, which is another really good team. But that was a little closer than I'd like. It was 6-5 last night.
It's a lot of goals.
One of the things, I'm going to transition this into a little bit of a pet peeve. Like, I don't like the way that WIA has playoffs for hockey. There's got to be a way to stop this. I go back to Bayport and Notre Dame when Notre Dame won the first one, 2 wins ago. And those two teams were probably the best two in the state, and they had to play each other in the sectional, and one of them didn't get to go on, which I don't like at all. I think we mentioned this on the show. It just doesn't feel right when one of the best teams doesn't even get to go to state, because you want that best game happening at state. And then last year it was kind of the same thing. Chippewa and Stevens Point were probably the two best. They met in sectionals. Now, to be fair, Chippewa, I think they lost. No, did they? Maybe they won. I can't remember. But anyways, there was probably the two best teams were in the same sectional, so one of them doesn't get to go. And the same thing again this year. It's Hudson and Point look to be right now the two better teams, and they're in the same sectional. So one of them's not going to state, and it's just I don't know. It's weird to me. Like, your two top teams, one of them doesn't get to go to state, so then whoever gets to state kind of just cleans up, because it's like, it's the other competition isn't there. And I don't know. I don't know how you solve it exactly, but it's a little annoying, I guess I'd say.
Well, we asked Deb Hauser that, right? Because that's when Bayport Notre Dame, and
Steph.
She said, or Steph Hauser, Steph, and she said they always get it right because the winner always moves on. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. But in today's age, with the money and everything that happens in school sports, there's nothing wrong with Bayport or Notre Dame having to drive to Hudson and Stevens Point having to drive to Madison to play a sectional game. It is what it is. They do it in football. They do it in basketball, right? So, I get it's the location that they worry about.
Right.
You can't worry about that today.
Yeah, and I get that too. The best solution I've heard, and I like it, I'll reference it again, is, you basically, you have those 4 qualifiers. I think it's 4 qualifiers. And then I think that's the way Minnesota does it. And then they have 4 at-larges. And people, like the coaches, whoever they think is those 4 at-larges, they get to go to the state tournament. You have 8 teams there, and then they just play a little mini bracket, and everybody gets a chance to be at state and to win. And
that's the big tournament, right?
Correct. With the hockey hair and everything, right? It's a big deal. Now,
biggest show on earth.
So,
yep.
Right.
But Wisconsin could easily mimic that.
I think so. And to me, it makes a lot of sense. Now, you still have arguments like we should be in that 4 that were, the at-large bids, but at least you have an opportunity to put your best teams at state if they're in the same sectional. And that's what I like about it. The only other option is what you said, is right. Make them travel. Don't have your best teams in the same sectional, but I don't know.
Yeah. I think the one thing we learned yesterday is more teams in a tournament isn't better. I mean, college football was not good yesterday. There were not good games.
That's a fair point. That was ugly. I mean,
so you're kicking out teams, and everybody thinks, well, the more that get in, yes, there'll be an upset. I mean, basketball has them, but at the end of the day, the product was not good yesterday. Teams got the doors blown off them, and they thought they were all world, and it is what it is.
Yeah, you definitely want the right teams in. You don't just want anybody, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I'm really curious to see how the next round goes. For somebody who wanted a 12-team playoff, which I did, I'd like a 16, but that was not a good endorsement of wanting 12.
Well, and now Penn State is favored. So what if somebody's favored by 10.5?
Yeah.
I mean, you got ASU in there over the higher seed. So this is where the big schools usually come out. I do want ASU to win. It'd be great to be at Arizona State for one of these big game and wins. We'll be close, because if they win on the first, they might not play. I mean, we might be down. Are you going to Arizona?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it could be me and you shirts off at the college bars. Nuts.
Yeah, no kidding. Which, by the way, I bought a new tripod.
Sweet. Who's taking Amelia?
Grandparents.
Nice.
Yeah, so they'll be down there. Yeah, that's so. Hopefully it goes well. I mean, it's hopefully the loons show.
Maybe we'll see.
We've had trouble. I mean, just being honest, we've had trouble showing up on these long trips. So even when we're there, sometimes we don't show up. So
well, right. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
So we'll see. I'm optimistic.
Yeah. Well, I'm going. I might as well. We're there. We might as well win it.
That dang right.
But
so yeah, that'll be good.
So, but we did want to talk. You had an update on, or at least some knowledge of NIL in the great state of Wisconsin.
Well, the only thing that I've been, looking up and trying to research a little bit, it sounds like this is going to go back to a vote again. And I would be just from what I'm reading, I would be very, very surprised if this doesn't pass this year. So get ready for NIL at the high school level. Now it's going to be, I couldn't give you all the details of what it's going to look like. I do think there's going to be some pretty strict, there's going to be restrictions. I don't like the way that sounds. There's going to be restrictions on students. Like they can't use school logos or emblems when they're doing NIL if they're supporting a local business or, Blue Garment Scoops, whatever it is, right? If I were to, they're not going to be able to have school apparel on or anything according to the school. And like my guess would be they'd be able to be the school colors because you can't really dictate that. But you're not going to be able to have like the SP, right? But from everything I'm hearing is it almost passed last year, and the people that the schools that voted against it, it sounds like they think it's going to pass this year because there's enough. The biggest argument last year was we didn't have enough time to understand what was happening, and this year they will be very well educated. There's not going to have that concern, I guess, and so I think it's going to pass. The other reason why a lot of people are saying that they think it's going to pass is if they don't pass it, it sounds like it's going to get forced on them by the legislature. So the legislature is going to pass it because it's up to, I think, 40 states now. I mean, we're literally like in the tail end. And if we don't pass it, the government's basically going to walk in and say, you're going to have to do this. And then you have to go by their terms. Whereas if they pass it, they can at least set the guidelines to what makes sense for the WIA or what they perceive to be the best option. Whereas if the government passes it, it is what it is, right? You don't get a say in it. So
yeah. Well, I'm assuming it'll be very much like when you pass a billboard. Nicolay Law, right? The guy with the beard, he's on everything. Yep. He's got Packer players on Lucas Van Ness, and it's something like Pack, and it's got a red and green Nicolay Law, but there's never a Packer symbol anyway because it's the NFL, and you probably can't afford that. Don't want to pay for that. So I'm assuming that's what it'd be like. So let's say a buddy owns like a machine shop, right? And his kids go to like Catholic school, right? And he wanted to be like, hey, my daughter runs cross country and she brings me business, so I'm going to pay her. Great idea.
I think you'd be able to. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't be able to, because it's going to be up to the business to make that decision about who they give NIL money to. And so if you have people who have kids that own businesses, I don't know why they couldn't. I mean, and it doesn't even have to be your own kid. It could be somebody else. Maybe they see it and they're like, oh, that'd be, you get somebody that either has a gentle look, or you have somebody that, that they're like, man, that could bring in some revenue, or you have somebody that's like the star quarterback or the star hockey player or whatever. It could definitely, I think it's going to be used. I really do. And hey, look at Paul's already looking into it. There you go. Paul's going to do all the research on this. He's going to find out everything, not for his own personal benefit, of course.
For the good of the show. For the good of the show.
The good of the show. That way, Paul. Paul's a giver.
I brought up in our meetings with my company that I think if I had a tennis player at Stevens Point that was doing our company good, it would be very good. But it hasn't passed our board of directors yet.
Tough board.
Well, it's 2 votes. It's 1-1. Terrible.
I like how Paul says Macy's going to be selling floors here shortly.
Yeah,
we're going to see the floor company with Macy's face
on the side of the truck. Just no.
NIL money, baby. Boom.
Whatever it takes. I guess if I can get a company to give my oldest 17.5 a year, I'm all in.
You know, I've thought about this a little bit too, and I don't know if it's going to be as impactful as we think it will be. Do I think it's going to happen? For sure. I don't even know if it's going to, like, you could make the argument, oh, somebody in Milwaukee, it's going to favor them because maybe they have like somebody who's really wealthy that really cares about the program to Paul's, and they're like, hey, if we get this person to transfer in, I'll pay this kid, right? Will that happen? Potentially. But then the same could happen in some of these small towns where like everybody's so close knit, and you got some small businesses that, you know, they're not crazy wealthy, but they got good money and they can use this as a way to like better than bring in I mean, I could see it going kind of both ways. Like I look at Amherst, right? Just outside of Stevens Point. If they had some mover and shaker in Amherst, it wouldn't be that hard to convince somebody to transfer over. I mean, I know of a few people in the heart of Stevens Point who've transferred to Amherst to play football. And if they had some mover and shaker that had some dough over there, I mean, I don't think you'd have to throw crazy money at a high school kid. You throw $500,000 at them. Yeah, most high school kids are gonna be like, done, right? I mean, that's for a successful business. That's probably not that much to swallow. I mean, especially if you could generate something out of it, like if you could use them in a commercial. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think of Maher Water over here in Stevens Point. They use their kids in their ads all the time. Their TV ads constantly have their kids. Well, if one of them is an athlete, there you go. Right now they can.
Yeah, I don't know. You're solid. I mean, yeah, it'll be interesting. I think companies that have the availability and cash flow, I think, why not? Especially your own kids.
Yeah.
I mean, the write-off, I don't know what the write-off is for a business, but it's 50%. But if you're a sole proprietor and your business is you know, and you own a successful business, nobody's going to tell you not to.
I mean, honest to God, if I could use it for advertising and it would be a tax deduction for the business, I would probably do it for my kids, for our little ice cream shop. I mean, just to knock out profitability.
Well, you got to get your profit down to zero. But I still think for 1 year, we take this podcast and we write everything off on it and just bury it like it's the worst podcast on earth and shut it down. And we'll start another one.
For the IRS listening, I'm going to do everything by the code.
Yeah. Oh, well, we're not code breakers. Well, one of us isn't a code breaker.
I don't need to get audited. I'm doing my accountant is doing everything by the book.
Mine too. Paul said advertising at 100% write-off. He believes.
Jeez.
I mean,
you can see some kids making some money off of this. Why
not? Especially for, like, let's say your ice cream truck makes X amount of dollars and you don't want to pay taxes on X amount of dollars. You give it to Isaac going to college, right? If that's the way it is, and right. you don't pay taxes, and you go into Isaac's 501c and you steal his money.
I would never.
No. What? But you know, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, because I'm sure it's out there. I know it is. Yeah. That's the way of the world.
For sure. And yeah. So, I mean, it'll be interesting, but it looks like this is coming down the pipe. So you guys be aware. Don't be shocked when it happens. It sounds like the vote's going to happen in March or April, I think it was last year. So just be aware. It sounds like it's on the docket, and they pretty much said that it's going to, they think it's going to pass based on what I'm reading, because it was so close last year. It literally only missed by a few votes.
So you get a couple of changes, and like you said, if legislation is going to jump in, they're going to take it now.
Correct. I think so. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, good. Pay to play. Hey, you had an update. I had read, and I actually sent this to you and Eric, JUCO college, that you got 2 years of JUCO and then 4 years on top of that. So you could be 25, 26, but you did some more research into that and found out that wasn't the case.
Well, Well, yeah, what you found out was basically like you could end up going to JUCO those 2 years, and then you go another 5 years. You could end up having 7 years into college. And what it sounded like from what you had read, and I agree with you, it looked like everybody that went to JUCO basically got 2 free years to play. But I did see an update on it. Shout out to College Soccer Truth on Twitter or on X, and they said that only applied to that specific. Would it be the plaintiff? Yeah, I think it's the plaintiff. And so it didn't apply to everybody at large. It's just to that person that was in the court case. So unfortunately, that means you will still be held to the 4 or 5 years if you get a red shirt. But you could always do the same thing this guy did and take it to court. And if you go to JUCO, maybe you get an extra couple of years.
Right, because it would be crazy. Because usually you play 2 years at JUCO, and then you get 2 to 3 years of college, Division I, Division II. But if you could play 2 years at JUCO and then still have your full eligibility, I mean, if you were on scholarship, you could get your education plus your master's paid for, which I would say go for it. I think that's limited to a small amount of people. It's hard enough to get somebody to give you any money in these sports.
Well, right. And think about the physical advantage if you did 2 years of JUCO and then you go in kind of as a freshman, right, to your college, but you're 21 and you're going up against freshmen who are 19, especially guy or girl, you have a physical advantage over them because you've gone through weight training, you've gone through all these things that JUCO probably has given you the opportunity. Not to mention you're just more skilled. You played against higher competition than maybe high school. So you could potentially, if that were to be the case, you could see people that really had an advantage. It'd almost be like, why didn't you go to JUCO? It reminds me a little bit almost of like what hockey does, where they go to juniors, they play in juniors for a few years, and then they go to college. And that's standard practice. But it's funny because juniors doesn't really count. But if you want to go play Division I hockey, you got to go to juniors. Like you're not jumping, unless you're just like Wayne Gretzky. You're not jumping from. I think he probably even played juniors. I don't know, but you're not usually jumping straight from high school to college.
Yeah, and kids. Is it true that kids don't even play high school anymore if you're good enough? I mean, aren't you going into?
In some cases, yeah.
Some of these leagues,
some just
USHL?
Some just go straight to juniors, and then basically by the time they'd be a senior, they would graduate, then they move on to college. That's true.
Yeah, that's hockey. Hockey's crazy, and we've discussed that.
It is crazy.
Yeah,
but
I'm glad more sports aren't like hockey, though. I think it'd be difficult. Like you got to be willing to give up your kid early in hockey, right? I mean, if you're going to go give it a run.
Yeah, I still maintain it's the most difficult sport to play, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know what.
Don't doubt that at all.
I don't know what's harder. So,
because even the level, like you talk about the level of sports at Division III, we'll just take Stevens Point. I don't know if we talked about this last time, but the men's tennis team is fantastic. Really, the girls' team has trouble getting girls. So it depends on the sport. Stevens Point hockey is phenomenal. Those kids are probably good hockey players as D2 out there, but that's the talent level in hockey. And it goes back to just the sport and the girls versus boys sport. So it's, I don't know if it's a luck of the draw or what, but it's tough to play some college sports, really tough to play some college sports.
For sure. Yeah. I don't know. But anyways, it's going to be kind of interesting how all that progresses. But yeah, I would not want it to be like hockey. To me, hockey is confusing. Heck, some of these other sports are confusing enough.
Well, exactly. But that's newer, right? Club and.
Yeah. I don't need to make it harder.
No, I don't need another step.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, well, let's get to the getting. You had a couple of great questions you wanted to ask all the listeners.
Well, I mean, yeah, let's see. Obvious. So chime in here. So let's go we'll do top 3 Christmas movies, and then maybe we'll do Christmas songs. So obviously it's the Christmas time. Nothing better than sitting down watching a good movie. So I would say let's do one at a time. We'll go back and forth. Top Christmas movies. I'll let you go first. What's your number one has to be watched Christmas movie?
National Lampoon's Christmas.
Amen.
Clark Griswold, hands down.
I agree.
I mimic it. I talk about all year. I use the lines. I mean, they are
It's a gift that keeps on giving.
It is. Jelly of the month. Jelly of the month club.
Yeah.
So that is number one in my book, and it's the TBI. Somebody plays it 24/7 now till Christmas, and
oh, for real?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
One of the channels does, but they might switch off with a couple others.
See, every year I put on the DVD. We got the DVD.
We do too. Because that was guaranteed to watch it Christmas Eve when we got home from wherever we were.
Yep.
And usually by the end it was just me. Everybody had gone to bed, but I laugh, I giggle. Man,
Clark, so good.
Clark W.
It's the best. All right, so you would take my number one, so I'll give you my top one after that. This one's a tough one for me, but I'm going to say Elf. Elf, I had a couple that I'm going between, but I would say Elf. I love that movie. I think Will Ferrell, it might be one of his better movies. When we're going straight comedy. So for me, I would go Elf. That is an excellent film. I'm trying to think, Smiley's my favorite, and Christmas Graham, I want one. There's just so many great lines. I love that movie. So Elf has got to be up there for me. So how about your number two?
Well, this brings up a good point. And now, Kelsey said Elf, which is right there. Paul brought up Die Hard, which is one of the most controversial Christmas movies of our day. Is it Christmas because it was on Christmas night, or is it a hostage movie that just took place on Christmas? I mean, I don't know, because that would mean Die Hard 2 might be a Christmas movie because it was done in snow outside of an airport. I think it was 2. I don't know.
I saw something on Facebook today. In First Blood, Rambo First Blood, there's a Christmas tree in the background during one of the scenes. So
really,
maybe First Blood finds its way. But yeah. So, anyways, yes, I'm with you on the Die Hard one. It's not one I typically think of. I don't watch it. Great movie. Great movie.
It is hard. It is. It's not like I'm going to gather my family down for some Die Hard.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah, right. That's used a lot, but not fully in terms. I do get, but I'm with Paul. My second movie would be The Christmas Story. I think Ralphie and the gang, when he beats the snot out of the guy and the redhead goes running, still one of the great. The Bumpuses next door. So Christmas Story is up there.
Bumpuses, I like it. So my second, we watch this one every year. The tradition in my household is when the kids go to bed, we're wrapping presents. We watch Love Actually every time. It's one of my favorite movies.
Actually?
I love it. It's a great movie. You've never seen it?
No.
Oh, it's so good. It's got Rick Grimes is one of the characters, from Walking Dead. He's like a total nice guy in the movie. It's got a bunch of other big time actors, but the reason we don't watch it with the kids, if you've never seen it, just be prepared. There are two characters in there that make pornographic films in the movie. That's what they do. Is their career is they make pornographic films, and so it's not always kid appropriate.
Okay.
But, excellent movie. If you've never seen it, it's hilarious, and it's actually a pretty nice Christmas movie too. So, Love Actually. I'm telling you, it's good. You'll laugh. Good stuff. If you've seen the J.J. Watt in the Dick's Sporting Goods commercial, where he does all the different movies.
Oh yeah.
One of those is Love Actually, where he's holding the cards, and that's Love Actually. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
that's new. Yeah. I've never heard of the movie. I'm going to watch it now. I got time.
Yeah, you should. It's great. All right, so what's number 3?
Now you kind of watered down a little bit. I think Bad Santa is fantastic.
I've never seen it.
It's a little dark. I'm actually watching. It's Angelina Jolie's ex-husband.
Brad Pitt?
No, before him.
Oh, Billy Bob
Thornton. He's Santa. He's not very good at it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Bad Santa. So I'm trying to think of some other movies that hit close home. Of course, I didn't really have time to look. What about you? mean,
third one for me has got to be Home Alone.
Oh, one?
Yeah.
It's got to be one, right?
Not,
Yeah.
Got to be one.
New York.
Yeah. No, Home Alone's awesome. Really good movie. I mean, it's a classic. It's goofy. I saw something the other day. I should have probably pulled this for the show, but it was like today Macaulay Culkin in a cab, like talking about the trauma he had from when he was a kid, when his mom left him at home by himself. It's actually pretty funny. If you go Google it, it's like a skit that they did. But as outlandish as the movie is, it's great. I always liked it. It's a classic. We watch it all the time. So
yeah, no, you're right there. Actually, I used to love movies like. Remember, do you ever see Snow Day?
No, I don't think I have.
It's not a very good movie, but it's about kids and they get a snow day and they attack the plow driver. It's just like movies that I love. They're you can just waste time. There's no real reason to watch them, but it's a good movie.
There you go.
But Home Alone, when they did Home Alone New York and they went into Central Park with the bird lady, we were in New York this past summer and we found that location just to be a part a little bit. The birds were not there and that lady didn't exist. I'm going to be honest with you. Very disappointed in that. Greg, Professor, Daddy's Home too. Very underrated.
That's the one with
Will Ferrell
and Wahlberg
and Marky Mark. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I have seen that one. That's a good one.
Will Ferrell's very funny. Yeah.
Oh,
Scrooge.
yeah.
Scrooge is good. That's a little dark. The SS Minnow. That was the question. The answer to the question when they played trivia. You ever see Scrooge?
I have not.
Okay. Yeah. When the brothers playing trivia and Bill Murray is the head guy, and he went through his life. He's kind of an a-hole. And he was in the room with his brother, like as a spirit watching. It was, what was the ship? And it was the SS Minnow for those out there. Yeah.
There you go.
A lot of good movies that you forget.
Yeah, there's a lot. I saw a new one this year that I'd never seen before, which apparently makes its way up to a lot of people's lists. I watched Family Man for the first time with Nicolas Cage and Tia Maloney or whatever her name is. It actually wasn't horrible. It was maybe it's kind of cheesy, but it was kind of he goes into an alternate life and he goes to sleep and goes into an alternate life where he was totally somebody different. I won't ruin it too much, but that's like the whole premise. And then he learns, valuable life lessons and yada yada. So it was actually pretty good.
I watched the red one, the big red one, last night. I think
to see that.
It's on Netflix. It's in the theaters too.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched it on Netflix. I think it's with The Rock and Chris Evans. Yeah, I watched it on Netflix for free.
We should go watch it right now.
It was good. I won't even talk about it. They try to ruin Christmas.
Oof.
Not cool. But I'm not into the old movies.
Christmas,
oh, go ahead.
We didn't say Whoville. We didn't say The Grinch.
Oh, The Grinch is good.
That's pretty good one.
Animated Grinch. But all the animated, do they still show those? Frosty the Snowman?
Yeah, I think they do. Rudolph and
The Grinch. Those were great because I remember even around in Snoopy, when we were growing up, right? That was a big deal because you didn't have anything to tape it with because nobody knew how to work the beta VHS recorder. That didn't work. So you had to sit and watch it. Those were great. Great animation.
They were great.
The Abominable Snowman.
I didn't mind the one with. I didn't mind the one with Jim Carrey though. I thought he did a really good job as the Grinch.
Yeah, that one was decent. That was a neat backstory. Like they went to the owner, whoever had the Grinch story, and they sat with him and made sure they could make it properly, and that was well done. The dog, but still, the animated one is good.
Okay,
I'm trying to think of any. There's a lot out there. I don't know. I'm gonna watch Love Actually.
Yeah, you know what? You take that. I'm gonna watch the red one or what was the other one you said? Bad Santa, I think it was.
That's a non-kid one, probably.
Okay.
I mean, you've got Lucy and little ones. You might want to walk away from that one, or just go all in.
It's Christmas. What could go wrong?
It's just Billy Bobby
Sarah.
banging heaters all day. Just he's always got a cigarette. He's like, God damn kids.
Yeah, we'll check it out. No, that's good. And Scrooged is one I if somebody mentioned one to me that they said I should go watch. Apparently, it has Tim Allen in it. Have you seen this? He becomes Santa. He like kills Santa, but then he has to become Santa.
Oh, and then he slowly transforms into Santa. Like he gets fat and then he grows a beard.
Right.
Yes.
Apparently that one's good. And there was like 3 of them, and I've never seen those.
It is good because he's got a son and an ex-wife or something. And yeah, that I did see. That one is pretty good now that you say it. I couldn't tell you the name. It's probably called Santa Claus, for crying out loud.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Literally, that's probably what it's called. And we were just
right.
Like, yeah. Okay. Well, I'll have to check that out. So are you a Christmas? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you watch Christmas movies up until Christmas, or do you kind of let them bleed over into the new year?
There's a specific ones that we always watch before it is called Santa Claus. That's wild. All right. Jeez. Thanks, Craig. These are from the top rope. Just ended us.
Right, morons.
But there's specific ones that we watch before Christmas for sure, like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Home Alone, Elf. Those always happen prior to. But as long as we watch them before New Year's Eve, we're good. Like we can still watch them up to.
Okay.
But after New Year's, it's done. Yeah.
Yeah. How long does your decoration stay up?
There's been a couple years where we never took our tree.
That's awesome. Is it fake?
Yeah, and we had a room that was like unused, and we would just pick it up and move it over, and then we just move it back. But we do take it down. We do take it down now, and we don't always keep it up. But I'm not gonna lie, I left the lights on all year this year. I walked outside, I plugged them in, and it was like the kids were excited. Oh, it's so festive, and I'm like,
we're back.
Yeah, we're back, baby. So I'm kind of lazy now. To be fair, I didn't put a lot up, but they were out all year, so sometimes I don't take them down. How about you?
Well, we go get a Christmas tree. It's been a family tradition since the girls were little. We used to go to this place, Whispering Pines, by our house, where you take a tractor ride out into the back, 500 acres, and then you walk around. You cut a tree down with a saw, you drag it back, and then they pick you up again, right? And so we found a place over here. It was supposed to be cheaper because the place we were going was getting pricey. So, and we needed to start to come closer to home because I don't have a pickup truck or a trailer. So we go and we cut this tree down and we ran around the woods and we had a lot of fun with it. But the trees, you don't know how big they are, right? Because you can kind of walk up next to them and you're like, that's kind of big. And our living room is 18-foot high ceiling. So the kids are like, we need to go big. And maybe I'll try to take a picture and post it because we went big. Like it is halfway up into the second window. So we cut it down. I drag it to the spot. We pick it up on the trailer. We bring it back. And nobody's there to help you when you load this bad boy on your car. So I put a blanket on top of the car. We have Jackie's 4Runner. And I throw the tree up. And I don't bring anything to tie it down. So I go to the lady. Nice. I'm like, do you have any twine? She's like, yes. So I got like 6 pieces of twine. These are not big pieces of twine. So I barely tie this thing down. And actually, I will send you a photo to put up so people know what the mess I am in. So I start driving home, right? Oh, the best is, so I go to the lady who she brings out a stick and she measures the stick. It's $9 a foot. My tree was 10 foot 4 inches. And she goes,
big tree.
Just make it 100. And I'm like, I have no idea. Like, I didn't know what she was charging. So I give her the $100 because it's really all I had on me because I figured it was cash. And she's like, thanks. And she's like, just have another free hot chocolate. And then I'm like, wait a second. I just got taken to the cleaners for about $9. Right.
Wow.
And then my wife's like, well, don't don't say anything. That, don't be an idiot. And I'm like,
it's the Christmas season.
Where's my $9? So I just sent you so this thing wasn't home. So I get the family in the car, and this bad boy, I put it on your phone. It's barely hanging on. And there's a wind, and my family's laughing at me and making fun of me, and the stress level hits an all-time high, and I lose it. I am screaming at the kids. I am screaming at my wife, and they just keep poking the bear. And I'm like, I just want to get this bad boy home. I mean, if you look at the picture, it is the size of my car.
Sounds like my kids.
And so I get it in the thing, and I look, and this thing is massive. But I did find at Menards these little Sylvania company that makes them, and you plug them in the wall, and then you plug in your Christmas lights, and I can run everything off an app. So I have 7 of these things. Let me see if I can show you here. And so my wife was super impressed so I can do everything. You can't even see it, but I have tree, front hall, outside, south kitchen, north kitchen, and I can hit a button called Christmas. The whole house.
Oh my God!
And when I go to bed, I hit the button on my phone. Everything turns off. It was like $7 for 4 of these things. I went back and bought 3 packs, and then they disappeared. But they are the greatest things ever. Bluetooth plugins. Yeah. So when I go to bed, instead of climbing behind the tree, hit the button on the app. So
all right. Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to try to look this up. But that's awesome. So, by the way, I think you had mentioned this once before. That whole thing where we try to do a product, and if people buy it, we get a little kickback on it. They kicked us out of that because we only did one. So you have to do a certain amount in a certain period of time, otherwise they boot you out. So we lost that.
So we lost all that money we made on my chair?
That $3. We lost it.
Ah,
it's crazy. So
wonder why they make so much money. They're sticking it to the young guys.
I was gonna say, but otherwise we could put this in there, and next thing you know it. Yeah.
Well, I went online, and all of a sudden 4 of them was $29. I was getting them at the Menards for $7, so I can't. And the guy said, "Well, that was a Black Friday deal," and I'm like, "Well, I'm not buying any more."
Yeah, that's crazy. $29. That's expensive.
They're worth it at $29, but I got them for $7, and I'm not spending $22 just because. That's not who I am. I got cleats to buy.
That's right. I don't know if I'm finding this here to be able to bring it over. So we might have to just post it on Facebook. Yeah. But it is let's say it's that tree is very full.
A lot of sap in here, Clark.
A lot of sap. Really full though.
But our tree, there's a very good chance I come home on Thursday after work and our tree is gone.
No kidding? That quick?
Oh yeah. My wife she'll be like, it's over. And my tree, I'll drag it around the back of the house, and I'll set it behind the house, and my tree will sit there until summer. Because I have nowhere to put it. I can drag it across the street, but it sticks out like a sore thumb. Then everybody gets mad like I'm dumping. So I don't have any cars or trucks, so I just sits behind the house.
No kidding.
One year my neighbor started it on fire, and it fell out of the fire pit and burned all my grass around it. It was funny, but I don't want to do that again.
Yeah, I was going to say some people do burn them. So your community doesn't pick them up?
No. We had a big party on our ice a couple years ago when we were doing broomball tournament in our back pond, and we brought all our trees and burned a big bonfire at night. That was kind of cool. But we don't do that anymore.
You don't do it anymore.
Got old. People got old, not the thing, but it was fun.
People got old.
My broomball days are behind me.
Just trying to figure out what the name of this file is, because I think I might have found it. But, oh yeah, I think I did. So, all right, I'm going to try to put this in the show. We'll see if I can actually bring this up. See if I can pull this up. Let's see. This is riveting. Oh, it's not supported. I gotta convert it to a JPEG. It's a height file or whatever. All right. Anyways, so we'll put that up on the show as well. Last question I was going to ask you: are you a Christmas music guy?
You know, we listen to Christmas music whenever we go somewhere when it's me and my wife. So okay. I don't know if I have a favorite tune or song.
Okay. Do you have a rule about when you'll listen to it?
This year we actually tried to find it before Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving was so late. She wanted to listen to it.
Wow.
But yeah, so no, there's no rule. I don't
You're one of those people.
Yeah. I will tap my toe whenever I can to good tunes.
Okay.
What about you? Are you after Thanksgiving?
I'm an after Thanksgiving. Got to be after. I won't even let the kids listen to it. I'll like they'll put it on in the house and I'll like turn it off. So I'm very, very strict about it. And then, it's up until New Year's, and then after New Year's, it's done. But I like a good mix. Like, I like some of the newer stuff. The All I Want for Christmas is kind of played out. But I really do like some of the newer ones, like Blake Shelton and his new wife, have a song that I really like. That's a new one. And there's some other, like, I like Bublé is really good. But I really like Nat King Cole and Bing Crosby and Frank Sinatra, some of the originals. The stuff that you hear, I think those are pretty sweet too. So I like Christmas music, but I only will listen to it for a specific period of time because outside of that, no way.
Yeah, I mean it's over with. Sure. Excuse me. I don't even think it makes it to New Year's in my house. I think when the decorations come down, it's over.
Well, yeah. If you're taking decorations down, that thing's over. So I'd be curious what people's favorite songs or movies. If you have favorite ones, put them up in the chat. Thank you to Kelsey and Greg and all those that put them up because some good stuff there. Maybe I'll have to go check out one of those. Maybe the kids would like them. So
watch the red with the red one. It was good.
Okay, I'll check that out.
I was surprised because I saw it in the movie theaters, and I was surprised it was on Netflix for free.
Huh. Yeah, that is surprising. I haven't seen that advertised. You'd think that would be out there. Maybe I'll have to slide that in between Enigma with Aaron Rodgers.
I want to watch that. Is that out?
I have not watched it yet. It is out, but I haven't watched it. I've heard some people say it was good and some said it wasn't. So we'll see. Yeah.
We're walking past the biggest podcast news and Judging Bouncing Ball history. Me and you, have taken somebody on our podcast that came on our podcast, and we've brought him to the promised land. Coach John Sandoval from Northern Michigan University, a member of Podcast Nation.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show. One of our best friends. I mean, he might not, but we're best friends. He has taken Loyola Chicago Division I women's soccer job and left behind a legacy at NMU. We're going to miss him up there as an alum. But yeah, I really feel – I wonder if Loyola listens to our podcast because
I have a feeling they do.
Of going to get the right man for the job. So congrats to us. Right. Congrats to him. I will be reaching out. I didn't think I wanted to be the first guy in the door saying, hey, you want to come back on? I figure he maybe had some players to sign, but you will be rest assured that I will be knocking.
I think that's good. And not to tease too much, but we do have I'm working on a big one here. So that's like a name that played professionally. Yeah. So we'll see if I can lock this down.
All right.
So this is good. So hopefully we can get them on the show, and obviously very pertinent to youth sports because that's where they're in right now. But yeah, professional players. So yeah, we'll see I'm going to see if we can get them on and start getting some friends back on the show. See if we can advance that person's career as well.
Yeah, I figured we'd get through the holiday, and now we're gonna hit it hard. I know we talked to one of our valued listeners, Greg, with Emily and him getting Emily to the promised land, how we did it. He will come on. I think so. He sent an email about what he would like, what he needs to come on, and I'm like, yeah, I just promise the world we'll deliver nothing.
Exactly.
It's just easier
that
way.
Do.
Yeah, right. But the new GB coach, Eric, who also been a member, at Pickleball, Jason Chaplin, who's been on our show for lacrosse, he said if we wanted to discuss recruiting, he would come back on like how he did recruiting with his kids more in depth. So I think we hit it after the first of the year really hard on some guests and get back to it.
I like it. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
otherwise,
you have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, you too. I hope Santa brings everything you're looking for.
I didn't ask for anything.
Me either. I literally needed boots, and I think I got them because I tried them on yesterday and then paid for them.
Oh, being a dad's the best.
Isn't it great?
I'm sure I'm going to get like some, knockoff tie or something it'll be good.
I think my kids got me reservations at a restaurant that they're going to come with and I get to pay. I'm all for it. I love it. Family time is hard to come by now. So why not? I remember just a quick story. When my dad owned our company before he retired, he had an account down at our hardware store. So I went down to the hardware store and bought him all brand new tools and put them on his account. And he didn't know it until the middle of January when the bill came. Oh my God, he was so happy with me. And then
he wasn't.
He's like, I paid for my own gift. I'm like, well, I can't afford this crap.
Dude, that's so funny. Speaking of that, I still remember my dad. I remember I did this probably 5 or 6 Christmases in a row. I bought him a vice grip every year because it was like he always needed them on the farm. Yep. They were handy, and I always bought him a pair of vice grips every year. So there you go.
Use them all the time. Well, you might as well get them practical stuff, right?
Yeah, that's right. So, anyways,
he didn't need the newest Adidas. Like they do now.
That is for sure. So,
well, you still have young kids, so you're lucky, right? I mean, Santa still comes.
Yeah, sure. We've never done the Santa thing, but yeah, they always
Better yet. By the way, they all get the same amount of gifts, whether Santa brings them or not. So it is what it is.
This is true. Yep, that is true. So
my youngest Macy, we were sitting at the kitchen counter. She was probably 4 years. I don't even know what it was, but she still kind of believed,
Mm-hmm.
And I dropped the bomb. I don't know why, just on a random Tuesday, and she's like, "What? Like, there's no Easter bunny?" And I'm like, are you telling me that you believe a 7-foot Easter bunny jumps through our back door and leaves chocolate? She's like, well, I guess that doesn't make sense. I go, I don't know, but I believe in it because I still want chocolate. And she's like, there's no Easter bunny. I'm like, no. But maybe there is. Yeah. Someone's got to do it.
Ouch. Hey, somebody's got to kill dreams. We should get you a shirt that says Dream Killer.
Dream Killer, right? Ask me a question, I'll kill your dreams. I don't care.
That's awesome.
I sleep just well at night. So, well, excellent.
Well, I tell you what, I will be putting on the old Scrooge shirt for every Christmas. Every morning I put on the Scrooge shirt. So hopefully you have a great Christmas. Everybody out there, I hope you have an awesome Christmas. Enjoy it. And hopefully everything is everything you want it to be.
Yeah. Send me a picture of the Scrooge shirt. I'll send you one of my NHL Chicago Blackhawks Griswold on the back. Authentic.
Oh, that's so awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. I want one of those. That's sweet.
I got one. It is awesome.
I like it. All right, cool. Well, happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Yep. Merry Christmas, everybody. We'll see you next year. Well, yeah. Unless we do one over the holiday. Probably next year.
Yeah, we'll see. Probably next year. So, all right.
We don't want to jump too far into things.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Bye.
Nice. All right. Sometimes it.
Whoa.